Goodbye, old KV-5. Hello, new KV-5. So, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm shooting all premium rounds, and I'm doing this to prove a point. The standard round, as it sets, is 167. Premium is 219. And when World of Tanks Wargaming buffs this, they're taking the standard round, 167, it's gone. They're going to take the premium round and up it, and the standard round and up it. The standard round is now going to be the same penetration as the premium round it currently has. So standard round is going to be 219 pen. The premium round, I believe, is going to be 243 if I remember right from reading what the changes are coming for the KV-5. And I just want this, and this is I couldn't ask for a better matchup for this. It's all tier 8s. No tier 9s, no tier 10s, all straight tier 8s. So I'm trying to prove a point that the standard round at what they're going to do is going to be 219, and 219 on tier 8 matches, you got about a 50-50 chance I'm going through half the tier 8s now with all the power creep and frontal armor that most of these have. It's just a bitch to pen most anything. You really still got to aim for weak spots, and that goes for any of the tier 8s that have the penetrating round of 219 for their standard. But that's still a good penetrating round, don't get me wrong. The point I'm trying to make is their premium round is only going to go up to 243. I think the difference is like 23, something like that. It's minimal between the standard round and the premium round, and now you're going to be facing not just tier 9s, but also tier 10s, and 243 is just not going to hack it. If you look at most of the tier 8s, their premium rounds are like 260-ish and higher. On tier 9s, you're looking at their standard rounds are 250 and 260 and up. Their premium rounds are 280, 300. So if you're going to take this KV-5 at tier 8, make it to where it loses its preferential matchmaking, at least give it a competitive gun for the premium round. 219 is good if you're going to be facing, all tier 8 tanks and some tier 9s, because like with your Progettos, and that's tier 8, we'll just say your French tanks and your Italian tanks that have really not much of any armor. 219 is a really good round. It should, 219 you can handle most of the tier 8s, and that's why I'm shooting all premium this match to show you that 219 you're still going to get bounces on tier 8s. So that's your premium round on. Watch this dingbat in where is he? T28. He comes in here. He wants his spot, so he's just going to start shoving us. It's like, you fucking dickweed. Yeah, and he's a shit player too. Yeah, look at him. 293 WN8. What a fucking stud. But he's just gonna take this spot, so he's gonna shove us. I'm like, fuck you. I can push you, bitch. But this is gonna show the KV-5's got good frontal armor, and they are buffing it to handle the tier 10s you're gonna be seeing. Here I'm hitting the KV-5 in the lower plate, and still, with premium rounds and bouncing, and he's bouncing off me. And there goes the dipshit. Just had to get through there, so he's pushed us. That's why he's a shit player, because he plays like a shit player. Thought I'd really go through his side there, but his angle just enough. So, like I said, the issue I have with the premium round is it's only going to be up at around 200, and bet you put it right through the commander's, that driver's hatch. Oh, nope, I was close to radio. So, that's, you can see it bounced on, no, that's the headlight. I was like, wow, that's kind of a cool bounce. So yeah, right through the radio operator. I believe that's the radio operators. One's the gunner, one's the driver, one's the I think that's the R2D2. I think this is the radio operator. Between those two, I believe that's how it works. But anyways, so yeah, right through that big hatch. So I knew that I'm not going to sit here and just let him go through that hatch. And he went through that with a standard round. Penetration on the T28 prototype, standard round, is actually really good. But they're going to be buffing that, so we'll see how well it contests tier 10s, because tier 10s are going to probably go right through that. I mean, the buff they're doing is sufficient for tier 8s and some tier 9s, but tier 10s will be able to go through that hatch like pretty easy cheesy. And you can see so far I've done a whopping 0 damage. I have not penned a single round yet using premium rounds, and I think I missed a total of like 4 rounds, 4 hits. So I'm hitting the targets. It's not like I'm not hitting the things. It's just, well, that one I did. That one ain't the dirt. But yeah, 243. It's just not gonna. It's not enough to contest tier 10 Mosses, E100, Jagzellas, Object 268 version 4. Hell, I got tier 10s. I can't even pen an Object 268 version 4 in the ass yet. And now they're going to have a tier 8 with premium matchmaking that's getting bumped to a tier 8 without it, and I'm supposed to go through that. Yeah, ain't going to happen. I do like the accuracy for point, I believe it's like 0.39. I was able to pretty much, you know, hit that Amex M449 in that weak commander's hatch up there pretty easy. I aimed and clicked it and actually penned it. So accuracy wise, it's all right. The gun handling, they need to buff a lot more than just the armor and the gun penetration on this if it's going to be bumped up to not having preferential matchmaking, because it's only got 11 power per ton, horsepower per ton. Weight ratio is only like 11. So it's going to be this big behemoth, slow moving tank that's, you know, it'll be buffed up gun wise and frontal armor, but they're weakening the rear armor, which I think they should really leave that alone. Just because I'm going to be able to, you know, they're buffing the front, I'm still going to I'm going to start seeing tier 10s now. I should still be able to keep the armor ahead in the back, so I can still kind of contest the tier 10s I'm going to be seeing. If anything, they should be buffing the rear armor too. You know, I'm just like, shit. But, you know, I pull out like this, and I'm not really concerned about him even penning me because it's a Russian tank, and he hit me right there anyways. I was thinking, you know, if he shot me in the magical tracks, it'd go in and wouldn't do anything. So that's why I just wanted to get a shot off. I wasn't really worried about him even penning me in the side, to be honest with you. And he's shooting standard, and he aimed and hit basically well, at that angle, that was actually a pretty good angle. So he'd have been like right about there. So if we can go back to that tree. Oh yeah, there's no way he would have penned that. Just, yeah, that was just a wasted shot. He would have had a better chance to shoot me right there in that big R2-D2. He would have penned that easy. Yeah, you can see everybody shoots at those hatches. They know how to shoot. They definitely do. Well, at least the players that have been playing the game for quite a while do. So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on what they're going to do to the KV-5? Do you think they're going back asswards by just buffing the gun up a little bit in the frontal armor, but also, nice shot there, Jeff, shoot the wall, but also at the same time, in this, what I did is I'm using that carcass of this tank right here to hide these commander hatches right here. Still has that one up there, but what I do is I angle it here in a second, and they can't get shots here, so basically they're trying to shoot in the side of a very well angled KV-5. So yeah, good luck doing that. If they would have been smart, at that distance it's going to be hard to shoot this here, but there's a MX 49 there, and I knew he was there, but I was more interested in the 3 tanks. There's actually UD's 03 right over here in a minute, actually a few seconds, that these 3 guys here, thinking that there's a T-34 and a T-28 right there that could work on that M4 and that T-34. But for whatever reason, I am sadly wrong. But yeah, so like I said, I like what they're doing to the KV-5, but they're not doing enough if it's going to see tier 10s. Watch this UD's 05. He's nice enough to just sit there and let me shoot the living snot out of him. I don't think he pens me one single time. great shot on my part there. I should have just kept working on the UD's 05, but he just wants to sit there and let me shoot him, so whatever. And I think, well, he's not a bad player. I mean, 636 WN8. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. But I was surprised. If I were him, I would have backed way up real fast, and then I would have been lit from these guys all around me, and then scooted forward till the KV-5 was just in my vision range, and sat back there and shot him and not been lit. But he just sits right there and lets me shoot the crap out of him. But yeah, I like what they're doing to the KV-5. Yeah, he actually hit me, but just knocked my track off again. But they're taking the armor off the back of it, which I think is a mistake, because you're going to still see, you're seeing tier 10s now, so it'd be nice to have that, armor that you at least have against tier 8s that are going to shoot me anyways. So, but yeah, so where did he shoot me? Right in the butt right there. And that's one of the parts that they're lowering the armor. I believe that's like 200 millimeters of armor right there, and they're lowering everything back here drastically. And a tier 8 just penned me easy. Not, I mean, yeah, you're supposed to really get penned in the ass. That's supposed to be the easy spot to pen it. But I think what's there now should be left alone, being that you got preferential matchmaking right now. Now you're going to see tier 10s consistently, where at least they should have left what you had there instead of nerfing it. The front, I like what they're doing to the front, because obviously you're going to be seeing tier 10s now. But the big thing that I don't think they're doing right is they are buffing the penetration up of the ammo rack, of the premium round, but it's only going up to 243, and like I said, that is not going to be enough to really contest. Yeah, see, he was hiding his commander's hatch by basically rear side scraping to the rear. That way they can't shoot the commander's hatches. I should have tried aiming there. At that distance, though, I probably don't think I would have consistently even come close to hitting that commander's hatch right there. And at that distance, at that angle, I probably would have bounced all day long on this, pretty much everywhere on him. But I was trying to get shots actually right in this area right here. I don't think I can, yeah, I don't think I can move it. Well, let's try this. Nope, it won't let me move it. But yeah, so he positioned himself right. He's still got a lot of hit points, and now it's down to all we've got left is a VK 100.01P, and he actually does pretty good. He actually takes a couple of those guys out before they get him. But so I'll just let it play out, actually. So the biggest bitch I have, like I said, is the rear armor. They should just leave it alone. And the premium round on the gun, they need to give it more of a buff than up to 243, because the difference between 219 and 243 is only, what, 22, 23, 24, something like that. And that is just not, like I said, going to be enough to contest a lot of the tier 10s that have, any decent armor. Even at tier 9 that you can see now, I've shot the crap out of E75s in the butt with this KV-5 with premium rounds and bounced in the butt, and let alone trying to pen the front, and that's 219. So yeah, they're going to give me 243. That would probably go through the butt of a KV-5. Lower plate of the KV-5, but we're mainly looking at, you're going to be seeing tier 10s. Object 268 version 4s. I got tier 10s, like I said, that I can't even pen those worth of crap. Mosses, E100s, anything with any kind of armor, 243 is just not enough. Shooting it in the keister, yeah, he's trying to, oops, yeah, we lost, it capped out. Even shooting like an E100, a Moss, Object 268 version 4 in the butt with 243, that is still, it probably won't even contest it at that. I mean, that's just going to be a big bounce-a-thon. I think to make it right with the penetration, they need to go up to around 268 to 280. Leave it APCR though, please. If you're going to do heat, give it like 320, 330 like you do everything else, but I hate heat rounds. But leave it APCR, bump it up to about from 243 where they're going to move it to about 268 to 280, and leave the rear armor alone. If anything, they should be buffing the rear armor a little bit because you're going to now see tier 10s, but they're nerfing the crap out of it. You know, I could see if I were going down a tier, taking it from a tier 8 to a tier 7, I could see nerfing the rear armor, so that tier 5s would be able to contest your armor in the rear and stuff. But you're not going down a tier, you're going up. You're losing your preferential matchmaker, so you're really going up a tier kind of in a way, because you're now going to see tier 10s that you have never seen before. So don't take armor away from it. Either leave it the way it is or give it more. I mean, like I said, if I were going down to a tier 7, I could see what they were doing to the armor in the rear, but you're not. Gun-wise, like I said, they really need to bump up the premium round to 268 or more, depending on what kind of round they use. 243 is just, no, just not going to, it's just not going to hack it. But anyways, if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some post-game stats for you, so I will be right back. Hello, goodbye, my old friend. Play the KV-5 till the end. I'm going to keep my day job because I suck at singing. Hey, I never claimed to be. So, here is the difference with a tank that you angle right, you spam premium rounds, and you wanted to play it one last time before, who knows, when they throw in the new KV-5. Now, mind you, the reason I slung nothing but premium rounds, because I do carry 17 standard, 35 premium, and 8 HE, and I only carry 17 premium because the premium round on this sucks ass, especially when you are either low tier, even top tier, 167, just, I mean, premium round is what, 217? 219. Standard, 167. Okay, I was shooting the shit out of premium rounds, 31 shots, 25 hit, and only pen 15. So, the new premium round, or excuse me, the new standard round for the KV-5 is going to be what the premium round is. So, if you look at this where it says 167, that's going to be erased, and the new standard round will be the premium rounds penetration, 219. I don't know if they're going to keep it as APCR, but make it a standard round and give it a premium round of heat, or give it a premium round of APCR also with just more pen. The problem we are going to run into if you do keep this, 219, as you can see, was struggling in tier 8, a tier 8 match to go through another KV-5, well, other tanks in general. I mean, I had, what was it again, 20-some shots, was it? Or 30 shots? 31 shots, 25 hit. So I hit, 75% of my shots, basically, and only had 15 penetrate. And it'll be nice that they're bumping up the average damage per shot up to 330? I think it is, because it's 300 now. Yeah, 330. And I know they said that that's just going to be a test thing. They may not keep it. I really hope they do. 330 for this tank would be definitely a big bonus. Now, the problem that I'm looking at is between the standard and the premium right now. I'm not a mathematician, so I'm going to cheat and use my calculator. So we got 219 for the premium, take away 167 for the standard. So that's a difference of 52 penetration. So now, the new penetrating premium round is going to be, I believe it's 243. This is without looking. I think it's 243 off the top of my head. Deduct 219, and the difference is 24. So going from a standard round of 219, you bump up, you hit your number 2, and you're only going to be getting an additional 24 millimeters of penetration. That is not going to hack it in tier 10 matches at all. If I shoot at an E100 or a Moss with 243 pen, probably even in the ass, they're going to laugh at me. They're just going to laugh. 243, I mean, if you look at your Okay, IS-3A. I'm looking at premiums only. This gets a heat round that bumps you up to 270. FE4202 premium round 258. That's still way better than 243. Amex. No, that only sees tier 9s. Okay, what about this? This sees tier 10s. 263. And you know, you're looking at tier 9s and 10s. Their standard round starts out at around 250, 240, 250. Their premium rounds are anywhere, if it's a heat round, over 300 easily. On some of your tier 9s, it is lower with APCR, but it's got better velocity. It gets there quicker, and it's got the speed to kind of bump through it, I guess you could say. And boy, I am sure bright as hell. I gotta figure out how to dim the camera on this. But anyway, so you get my point. They're gonna bump the standard round to 219 and make the premium round 243. That's just not enough. That's gonna, I mean, I'm having trouble contesting tier 8s with 219. So now you're going to throw me in a tier 10 match with 219 as my standard pen, but my premium, which that's if I come up to a, you know, when I get us an E100, a Moss, basically anything that's got decent armor, which a lot of the tier 10s really do. A Object 430U, yeah, imagine this shooting at a Object 268 version 4. Oh, that's funny even thinking about. I mean, I have trouble going through a 268 version 4 with tier 10s with premium rounds, let alone this. I mean, I've shot those things in the side and the ass with premium rounds, heat rounds, APCR that's got 320 pen and bounced. And now you're going to give me 243 pen and expect me to be able to contest against something like that? Yeah, fat chance in hell. I mean, I like what they're doing by actually, they could have just very well said, hey, we're, you know, when you buy these things, it says right in the EULA, their wording specifically says, you don't own this tank. You're just renting a license to use this pixelated vehicle in our game. And if we want to change it, sucks to be you. And they say right in their wording that they can make changes at any time, any way they want, and there's not shit you can do about it. So basically, they could have taken premium matchmaking away from these and said, there you go, there's your tank. Now go fight in a tier 10 match with 167 pen and 219 as your premium. So and they, you know, they're bumping the frontal armor up, which this is still, they're still going to go through this driver hatch and radio hatch. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Um, you're going to see a bunch of KV, well, I was going to say you'd see a bunch of KV-5s driving around in reverse, facing their asses, but I forgot they're really nerfing the shit out of the rear of this. I think that's kind of a step backwards. I think they should leave the armor on the back completely alone. Don't touch it. And buff the front of this. Because 9s and 10s are still going to go through the back of this, the side of this, the front of this, everywhere. You know, especially if they nerf it like they're talking about on the rear armor. That's just, I mean, it's not fast by any means. I don't think I remember seeing them buff the speed, the traverse, the engine power, oh, I'm losing my thought here. Specific power to weight, it's 11.88. Okay, now you're going to stick me into a match with the Object 268 version 4 that's as fast as some of the light tanks, a lot of the medium tanks, even though they're nerfing it, it's still not enough of a nerf. And expect me to be able to try and do anything against that. That's just a joke. Basically, if you get stuck in a tier 10 match with this, um, you know, like an IS-3, even the IS-3A premium, a lot of my premium tanks, I'll still try and help out at a frontline position. I'll back up my tier 10s and 9s. With this, the size of it and the speed of it, yeah, no. This is going to become a sniping setback. It's going to be it's going to be another UD's 03, except for it's a tier going to be tier 8 heavy tank. Because if you get up front in this thing, you are going to just get annihilated. I mean, look at that commander's hatch. Look at that commander's hatch. That commander's hatch. That hatch. I mean, the whole front of this, even though they're toughing it up, it's just not going to be enough to contest a tier 9 or a tier, we'll say 10, because you see 9s now and they go right through you like cheese. So, yeah, buff it up. You're still not going to be able to contest a tier 10 gun. And especially what they're doing to the armor or the rear of this. And if they don't buff up the speed, power to weight, the traverse and stuff, you're just going to be a sitting duck for, the big tier 10 tanks. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to keep it. I'm not, going to sell it. I keep all my tanks. No matter what they did to it, I would have kept it. Um, it's just kind of a bummer. I don't know if they're getting the ideas of how to buff and nerf this from the super testers, but if they're getting this information from the super testers on what to do to this thing, they must be smoking flipping crack or something, because I just, maybe they're like super players, and that's why they're super testers, because they're super players, and they go invisible and no one can see them, and they got force field on the front and back, and I just don't understand where they're coming up with the numbers for this. The biggest bitch I have is about the premium round penetration. It is not enough. You are not going to go through Mosses. You are not going to go through E100s, Object 264, 268 version 4s, IS7s, literally anything with any kind of frontal, well, anything with armor. Any Russian tank, basically, you shoot the side here, it's just a black hole. The round goes in here, and it comes out the other side and does no damage. Um, but yeah, so enough bitching about it. Let's go ahead and go over that match. And I shot all premium just to kind of prove a point, because I don't normally shoot. I shoot all my standard rounds and only flip over to premium if I need them. But I was trying to prove a point. Sorry, footage just that even shooting all premium rounds out of this thing at a tier 8 match, 219 has trouble going through tier 8s. So now you're going to give me, what was it, 20 some more pen and expect me to go through a tier 10? Yeah, fat chance. Anyways, that was a Mastery Badge Class 1, a Duelist, Fire for Effect, and a High Caliber. We got one bond for that. We made 19,233, excuse me, 19, I wish. 1,923 experience, 123,623 credits. It's a lot of credits, but I can guarantee, I haven't looked at it, but I'll guarantee we probably lost about 40 or 50,000 because I shot all premium. AMX 5100, we shot him and we tracked him. Something with literally no armor, so I must have shot him. Oh wait, I think that actually pulled out when I was shooting at another tank. Would have been nice to go through it anyways, but a 5100 has no armor, and I knocked off his track, but it happens, whatever. We bounced one of his rounds for 300, and when we knocked off his track, he got hit for 182. AMX M449, we shot him twice. I think I shot him both times in the commander's hatch. No, one time in the commander's hatch, and one time he was coming up, shot me in the ass, and I shot him in the side and took him out. Hit him for 454 for total damage, knocked him out. The enemy KV-5, we bounced one of his rounds for 300. The other enemy KV-5, we bounced four of his rounds for 1,200. Shot him two times, that penetrated, for 639, and we knocked out his turret. T-34, we got some good shots. He had a good position. He was hard to... This is a pretty accurate gun for being a .39. You would think it's actually more like a .33, .32, because I was getting some shots on that T-34 that I really was surprised, because there was a dead tank in front of him, and I had a little spot to put it through to try going in his upper plate, and I was able to sling him in there. But we did 922 damage to him. Tiger 2, we hit him 3 times for 882. That's my old badge number when I was a cop. And we knocked out his track. Lorraine 40T, we shot him once for 323. Knocked out his track. And bounced one of his rounds for 300. T-44, we bounced two of his rounds for 500. Gotta move this back a little bit. The UD's 03, he sat there and was nice enough to just let me shoot the shit out of him. And from full health to dead, 1,000 hit points, and we killed him. And we bounced 3 of his rounds for 1,170. I think he just literally sat there. I don't think he penned me one time, and he just sat there. I mean, I would, if I were him, I would have backed up. The first time I got hit, I would have backed way up where I was just out of sight. Then I would have pulled forward where, because I'm in a heavy tank. He's got way better spotting than me, and I would have just rained pain on the KV-5 if I were on the UD's 03. But he just sat there and let me shoot him, so thank you. We did the most damage at 4,220. Just wasn't enough to you know, basically carry the team because there was 4 of us that got over 1,000 damage, and the rest of the team didn't even break a 1,000. So yeah, so we did 4,220 damage. We got 2 kills with a base experience of 823. We had 31 shots, 25 hit, and only pen 15. So we bounced 10 rounds of premium ammunition on straight tier 8s. And given some of the tier 8s have decent armor, but some of them that I were shooting, some of the areas it seems like it would have went through and it didn't. So 4220 damage, total damage done. We got hit 19 times, 6 pen, 13 bounce, so we bounced 4,010 damage. If you angle this thing and hide that commander's hatch, or the, excuse me, that gunner, that big R2D2, you can bounce the shit out of some rounds with this thing. But come, you know, that was a straight tier 8 match. There was no tier 9s in there. You throw in some tier 9s, they're going to go through you. You throw in some tier 10s, they're going to go through you like butter. So we damaged 7, destroyed 2. Damage with our assistance was 182. Yep, and I was pretty close. We lost 47,086 credits. We did have 23,000 that we used in consumables because I had to repair. I used my first aid kit, and I think I fixed my tracker motor, something. I used that, but we lost 136,400 in ammunition. Yeah, quite a little bit. Um, yeah, so I guess you got to give and take with what they're going to do to the KV-5, but I really wish on the gun department that they really buffed up that premium round, because it's not going to hack a tier 10 match. I'll make sure I do a review of this when they bump it up to a tier 10 and show you what I'm talking about, how I'm going to be bouncing off everything that's a tier 10 with premium rounds. Unless I get shots in the side or back, and half those will probably bounce too. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. What are your thoughts on what they're going to do to the KV-5? Or, you know, I know a lot of people are pissed on this, and I think they're going to change it because so many people are pissed about this. Well, you can trade it in, but you got to pay us some gold up to 2,000 credits. You know, I can kind of understand that if you're going to trade a KV-5 and that's less value than, let's say, a defender. And yeah, I can see paying the difference there. But if you're going to make me pay 2,000 credits, or excuse me, gold, for a tank that's the same or comparable price as a KV-5, now that's a kick in the nuts. I think the options should be full refund. I wish they could refund you actual cash, because I mean, you pay real money for the thing. If they're going to turn around and change it, this big of a change too. I mean, it's not like they're just going to nerf it a little bit or buff it a little bit. I mean, you're going from a tier 8, seeing nothing over tier 9s, to all the way up to tier 10s. So I wish they could actually reimburse money, but that will never happen. So I think the option should be, you could take a full refund, and if you do a full refund, I think they ought to actually give you a bonus of an extra 500 gold just for your troubles, because of the headache of what, you know, you're not going to get preferential matchmaking. You bought this thing, you paid real cash, so you pay real cash. They should suffer a little bit and have to pay you back a little bit by giving you, you know, 500 extra gold or 1,000 extra gold, you know, since they can't give you real cash back. Option number 2, keep the tank, and just deal with whatever they do with it. But I think they should really not use the input of the super testers, because I don't think they know what they're really talking about half the time. I really don't. I think the buffs and nerfs they need to do to the KV-5, they need to take from the players. Do you know how they have your test server for everybody to get on when they're going to do a big update and put in new tanks in the game? Basically do a super test and make the only thing, do it for a KV-5, so that's the only tank you can play, and have everybody that gets on the super test play just the KV-5. Well, no, you can't do that, I guess, because obviously you're not going to see just other KV-5s in matches, so that wouldn't make any sense. I guess, well, do the super test, but the only tank that they change at all is the KV-5. Everything else stays the same, and that way you, as a actual user that's going to be playing the game, that paid cash for it, that is going to get either screwed or be happy, whichever way it goes, actually test it in tier 10 matches, and you have input on what needs to be done. And I'm telling you, that gun buff, it's going to have to, those premium rounds just they're not going to hack it. But they need us, the actual players, not super testers, but the players, which super testers are players too, but there's only a handful of them when there's thousands of us, to actually go in and test this and tell them this is where I think the changes need to be made. And obviously they'll take them with a grain of salt and do whatever they want anyways, but at least we get to put some input in there and tell them what they really need to do. Um, I don't know. There's not really an option three. I mean, there's not like, well, yeah, I guess option three is trade the tank in. Duh. Yeah, trade the tank in for another tier 8 of comparable price. Being not what it's at, right, what they're going to buff it to. What would that KV-5 be valued at as a premium tank that's going to see tier 10s? Okay, and then if you decide that you want to trade it in, you get the trade value of what it is as the new KV-5, because you didn't ask for this to happen. It's not your fault. I mean, it's them doing it, so they should kind of do butter your bread per se. They ought to do you a favor, and um, give you the value of what it's valued at after they're going to do the buff to it, and that way, pretty much you should be able to, it should be valued at, I would almost imagine, like a 252 Defender, or an IS-3A, or a Lorraine 40T, one of the premium, most expensive tanks, a low T-34. I just see it as being fair that way. But basically, that's the kind of three options that you can really, look forward to. To make things right. If they want to, you know, customer satisfaction is number one. If you keep a happy customer happy, you're going to keep that customer. You piss that one customer off, everybody's going to hear about it, and no one's going to come back. And I'm telling you, Wargaming recently, and I love the game, and when they do stuff like this, it just makes me cringe because I just that other game, just Armored Warfare, comes to mind. You get on Armored Warfare, try playing person versus person. Ain't gonna happen because no one plays it. It's all person versus computer because can't get enough people to play it. And if Wargaming wants to go down that road and end up being in the same boat as Armored Warfare, keep doing stupid shit like this. Look how pissed people were and blew up, in their face basically with their ideas of how to make things right. No, no, no. What they were doing is how to make their pocket more full. Screw the customer, but keep jamming money in our pocket, and that's just not right. And they're going to lose a lot of players, customers, if they keep doing stuff like that. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button down below, and tell me what you think about what they're doing to the KV-5. If it's justified, if you think what they should do. I mean, I have no input. You could tell me, I'm gonna quit playing the game, and 50,000 of my friends are. There's nothing I can do. I'm just a YouTuber that makes videos. So, but maybe if they look at some of these videos and hear what people have to say in the comments down below, maybe they'll actually come to their senses and try and make it right, the right way. But yeah, you guys take it easy, be safe, and I'll see you on the battlefield.